So to continue our talk, so you were mentioning about the 29 degrees in Capricorn, the last, and the Pluto's ingress.
Yeah, so we're in these crossover years and huge truths are coming. And it's interesting because also at the same time we have the US Pluto return happening too. So it's like something to keep an eye on, obviously what's happening in the US over this period of the crossover years from 2023 to 2024, when Pluto will finally stay in Aquarius, which won't be until 2024. But yeah, so it's going to have a lot to do with our what we've already been experiencing, and like truths revealed around our governments and structures and businesses. I think too, those who have not been
Exposed to
um,
it.
yeah, they maybe haven't been living in the most, they're not living with the integrity. And I think that's going to be exposed as well. Pluto doesn't leave anything the same. So we are entering like a new high control world with Pluto and Aquarius. And the retrograde back into Capricorn is going to be like the old world powers trying to fight the rapid evolution. So really the future is in the hands of the people. We're really going to learn what it means to be a community, which is very, Aquarian, and, it's online, it's everywhere, it's everybody being their weird and wonderful selves and connecting across borders, making friends all over the world, like we are. And,
Absolutely.
it's going like full digital revolution with
Yeah,
Leo and
connecting with
Aquarius.
like-hearted people like yourself, it feels great. Like connecting with a lot of um, friends, uh, building new friendships has become so important in this technological isolation, building really kind-hearted friendships. So yeah, I also have a plan
Yeah.
to come up with a talk, maybe next interview on conscious friendships. It's always about conscious relationships, the couples and all that talk, but conscious
Mhm.
friendships also, where there is respect and grace in how we treat our friends as well. It's required.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's so Aquarian too. Aquarius does rule over our friendships, so that's beautiful. I love it.
Go ahead, you were just sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about Pluto and Aquarius all day. Like I said, Pluto hasn't been here for a long time, so we don't for sure know exactly what's going to happen. But we can talk about some things that have been themes in the past, and what it means, for Pluto, what we think it means for Pluto to be in Aquarius. But I think it's still going to be there's going to be some shocks, for sure.
It
So
has to.
just so people are aware, that's what's great about astrology is it allows us to prepare, because it's probably going to activate some chaos and anarchy. Pluto wants to disrupt, and it's going to want to bring out these Aquarian energies to life, which is all about revolution. Revolutions are part of humanity's experience. They're meant to show us what we want and more of our power. And there are going to be more things that fall apart if they don't have the best interest for humanity. And like I said, in our energetic vibration. So Aquarius brings up what's going on below the surface in the areas of our human advancement, including things like transhumanism, cloning, AI, DNA and hybrid experiments. Plus, we haven't even like mentioned, or I haven't even mentioned like space experimentation and exploration. It's very interesting. But yeah, these crossover years are going to shake things up. It's going to probably be a little bit destabilizing at first.
Much
You
needed
know,
disruption,
e-
isn't it?
I love that you're like, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready for
Because
it.
there's
So
so
many
much
light
craft
workers are like
behind this.
that. Yeah, because we know that it's necessary, right? So we're not exactly fearful. We don't want to live in that fear state because we're protecting our vibration. But we're also kind of welcoming this change and transformation and this metamorphosis of our societies because we know that so badly that we crave something different. And obviously if you're one of those humans and listening to this, you're what many people call, a light worker, a star seed. Like you're here for a mission and you're feeling that way for a reason. So yeah, focus on your frequency and, trust yourself. There's going to be some deep, profound changes coming for us. And it's really good to stay grounded and educate yourself. We're talking about, again, it's an air sign. So knowledge is power during this transit. um, the more you can educate yourself, the better. And that's one thing I can't stress enough. So continue to learn and educate yourself during this time. Like you said, like learning more about astrology. And for me too, um, it's going to be definitely beneficial for us during this transit. And, there's going to be a transformation of our social structures and a technological impact on the world, which can be a positive thing or a negative thing. And it's all about humans really, we're going to, we want to create these communities and connection and create a better free world, but people need to rise up first. So things probably will get harder to the point where it's going to force people to rise up and make sure like they're using their time more wisely here on earth and making better choices. And Pluto is all about like shadow work and inner work. So it's going to be about you yourself doing the inner work and assisting others as well during this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. On point. So, all right. So that was really insightful for the first question. Let us go for our next one. And the
Sure.
point of inner work, yes, that is like huge. Like that has become a big topic to talk about in itself. Okay, so next one, awake. The second question is awakening of humanity and how can we anchor more of 5D vibration among a lot of people, like collectively.
Right. Yeah. So I think kind of mentioned some things, right? Like
All right.
um we
How
are
can we
here
pull in
to,
those energy levels more and at a faster
right?
rate?
Yeah, because this could be a very challenging time, and protecting your energy is so important. So one of the biggest things that I think we already mentioned was keeping your vessel, your body, your meat suit clean. And I know there's some people on earth that decided to take, you know, an
Hmm.
experimental, I don't know what I can say on here. And they
Let's
took
call it just the sweet shot, which was not really
the sweet shot.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like for people who maybe did that, you, there's so much you can do for your body. Detoxing, obviously, I am a huge advocate for detoxing your body, for cleaning it up, parasite cleansing, heavy metal cleansing. You want to work with your third eye, just keeping yourself clean and living in a more natural, organic way, because anything that isn't organic is probably not in our best interest for humanity. And if you're trying to keep your vibration high and anchor these things in, one of the most important things you can do is take care of your body, mind, and soul. And I love that you mentioned when we were talking about like meditation and yoga. I think a lot of these things are becoming a lot more popular, and I can see them becoming very routine for a lot of people that maybe weren't doing them before. Reiki is another one that I really love, breath work. These are all types of ways that we can take care of our body and our energy, and just getting back to our roots and using like plant medicine, really just taking care of your body. Like I said before, this is a spiritual war. So, I'm really proud of all those who have taken body sovereignty seriously. I know we've talked about that as well too, and that's a big part of keeping your vibe high. Is it's all about your body and your energy and your frequency. So you need to be grounded. You need to educate yourself. Obviously, if you're not familiar with your own chart and where Aquarius is in your chart, I would educate yourself on that, or reach out to an astrologer and ask them, or book a reading, educate yourself on where it's going to be, because you need to prepare yourself for this area of your life that Aquarius and Pluto and Aquarius is going to be transforming. This is starting a new story for you. For 20 years, this is going to be a big transit. So the more you prepare yourself, the more you can stay grounded and make a plan for yourself. Because yeah, if you want to keep your vibe high, I really think knowledge is power there as well. There's lots to be said when it comes to like anchoring in the 5D. I do think something interesting that you've talked about too is like the role of the feminine, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I see that being that's very important during this time that we live in, and becoming more balanced in our roles here um, on earth, and living in your divine feminine or your divine masculine will that's like a huge part of raising earth's vibration, right?
Mm-hmm. True. And the energetic shifts are very real. Like I can sense that. Uh, it's like certain people we met a long time ago, and being in crowded places now, I absolutely cannot stand that much of huge crowd or things like that.
Yeah.
It's a big change. And even if I'm in a crowded space, I see a sense of that expansive look, like a fisheye lens look. It's very different. Yeah. And then people usually turn towards people like they're like that always, as though they are like familiar. So that it's a very
Oh
strange
yes.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting
it's really
topic.
cool. I love that. Yeah, and that's going to be another big part of us keeping the frequency and the vibration high, or where where it needs to be for us. I know there's going to be other humans coming in to Earth, then their job will be to increase it even more. But yeah, so obviously keeping your body clean and getting back to our roots and body sovereignty, and the importance of growing your own food, eating organic, detoxing your body. And it's all about intention. There's beautiful rituals that I notice a lot of people are doing. There's no one right way, there's multiple different avenues. I think it's about finding what works well for you and staying grounded in this destabilizing time, and yeah, really protecting yourself. And this is going to be like, Pluto is intense, and like we said, shadow work, and it's psychological too. So this is like going on deep inside of you. So that's where the great part of the Aquarius comes in, when you're connecting with other people and working out this psychological transformation that's going to be going on within you, and having your conscious friends and being, conscious of who you're surrounding yourself with obviously is going to be super important as well. And I think a lot of people have already learned that and are really finding, like, I hear a lot of people saying like the words like soul tribes and stuff like that. But yeah, just like you said, like connecting and having conscious friends for sure, um, to work out the psychological release,
Yeah,
and these releasing from these old shifts into the new during this time.
absolutely. Nice one. Okay, so going for our third question. Um, okay, this is interesting. Which businesses would flourish and be profitable for the feminine collective?
Yeah, I really like this question. I was like, oh, that's such a good question, especially because you target it specifically for the feminine. And I don't know that I could give a direct answer based on just the feminine. I do think, obviously, the importance of living in your divine feminine is absolutely a requirement of where we're heading
Yeah.
in the
And
future.
it's mainly addressing the Asian feminine collective where I live,
Okay.
the Asiatic region. Uh, there is much work to be done when it comes to
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, and I agree. I agree with that here in Canada as well. I wasn't living in my divine feminine. And once you start really waking up to that fact and switching over into it, it is beautiful because you do have this beautiful, like, creative energy flowing. And that is what we need, right? Humans are here to create, and the feminine is going to guide our masculines as well through their awakening. And it's very, very important, obviously, for what we're going through right now. So when we're talking about like Pluto in Aquarius, just like very like 3D level, but also it's like it can be 5D. Just like if you're wanting to start like an online business, or if you have any innovative ideas that will um, make humanity's lives easier in any way. I think if you're ever thinking about starting some sort of online business, now would be a good time, because obviously Aquarius rules over technology. So tech is going to be rising. Online businesses, I could see thriving if you're living in integrity and you have the best intentions, obviously.
very
And where we're heading towards, going into, like, it's 20 years away, but Pluto moving into Pisces is going to be very healing energy. So if you've been wanting to learn any sort of healing practices, or offer that kind of service to people, when we do, after we go through a hard destruction and everything that's been happening, healing is very needed, right? So if there's any feminines out there that have been considering getting into any sort of healing work, I think that's definitely something to get started on sooner than later, and offering that to the collective, because we do need to assist others. But yeah, it's interesting because I do see technological innovation being um, big during this transit. So if you are into tech, ladies, I think that could be very helpful for you as
and
well to take advantage.
how about cryptocurrency benefiting the female collective when it comes to financial freedom and all of that?
Interesting. I do
The
see,
business part of it, and yeah, yeah,
yeah, I see, like more decentralization and like an increased social equity between lots of groups of people being a part of this positive side. Um, of the Pluto and Aquarius transit. I'm not like huge myself into crypto and investing in different types of cryptocurrency, but I like so I don't want to give financial advice, but I would be like, as an astrologer, obviously, I'm definitely aware of this. Being part of breaking out of the matrix and something to be aware of when it comes to this transit. So for, I think for women who want to get involved in digital currency, just always keep your critical thinking and just, know that there's probably our government's probably going to try to control everything, even crypto. So definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket. But since there is going to be this rise in tech and AI and like an AI revolution, it is something very interesting to consider and get involved in. So there are astrologers out there too that strictly focus on finances. So if you're wanting to invest and you're not sure, you can definitely get a reading from them. They can be very helpful when it comes to your money and money management. Um, but yeah, it's not something that I'm super informed on, so I won't give too much advice.
Mhm.
I would just say stay
Just a
like
little tiptoe
cautious.
around. Yeah, yeah, just tiptoeing around cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I think I'm connected. I'm in touch with a few people who are already thinking on bartering systems or exchange of services instead of thinking in different ways. So yeah,
Yeah.
that if we are focused more on that, like worst case scenario, okay, bartering and other kinds of exchange mediums, and still using, just having some perks of cryptocurrency, but not the CB dash DC, it,
Right.
so omitting that, but still reaping certain benefits of this kind of technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the themes of Pluto is obviously it is power, and it also does rule over money. So it it's going to change how we view money, like society, money, power, control. It's going to change. So it's definitely something to be aware of. And it changed back in the 18th century, so it's probably going to happen again. And I think a lot of people can feel that. I know I like you can just get a feeling of, when you do sit with the vibration of what's been happening with money and where we're sitting at right now in the world, like it does need a change. So I'll be curious to see where that goes. And I like the bartering system. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's very Aquarius for us to, break out and do something different. And I could definitely see that happening for sure. Like even now, like I trade astrology for other services.
Okay.
So, I can definitely see more of that happening. Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I think that will be a natural
it
turn.
does.
Like, yeah, so people will naturally move towards it given all these restrictions, right? Looks like that.
Yeah, right. And we could have a huge destabilization of our money. We do have some transits coming up that would indicate that. I don't think that it would be like a long-term thing. I could see like this next year being a little difficult, but when you look at 2024, I could see it kind of like correcting itself or changing, getting more abundant again. But yeah, we might be in for a little bit of a rough ride for a short amount of time. I like, again, I don't like to fear monger, but it's something to be aware of. But obviously, like, yeah, I'd love to talk more about people, our two people who are investing in cryptocurrency and stuff too, because it's not something that I do. But yeah, it's interesting. I do think that again, we have a lot of changes coming, and it's interesting for, innovation and for the divine femme and our businesses changing. I can also feel like there might be something around like our energy. Like I know we've talked a lot over the past few years about like free energy, sound and energy, like Tesla energy. So yeah, if there's women out there who have been researching and working with sound and stuff like that, I think that would be very interesting during this transit as well for them to explore in their businesses and in innovation.
Absolutely. Hmm. Quite interesting.
Yes, it is.
May all women rise in their power.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. So, going for our next question. Um, yeah. So, I'll combine this one. A quick dip to know a rise of feminine leadership in different sectors of industries, and then for the next one along with it is brief insights on star seeds, newer children, and families who would bring in the fresh vibration to create new earth.
Mm, yeah. So the female leadership is interesting. This is kind of where I would probably look more at like an individual country's chart and see what's happening there um, if we're wanting like a more direct answer. I have noticed in Canada's and India's charts, there's going to be some aspects, so some oppositions from obviously Aquarius is opposite of Leo, the sign Leo, and Leo does rule over leaders and leadership. So that's something that I have thought about. Um, um,
And
Leo is more. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
also, about women, most of them are still unaware about the harmful effects of feminism, right? So most of the ladies, the women in leadership roles are going the masculine way, and that could cause harm long term. So how do you see
Yeah,
the
you're
rise of
so right.
true feminine leadership with all of
Oh, it's
this?
happening for sure. Definitely can feel that changing. Um, I see it just with my own eyes on my own social media. More and more women waking up to this feminism that you're talking about, and realizing like we were not living aligned at
We were
all.
deceived.
And
Yeah.
yes, there's another program, right? We've been programmed everywhere, so you do have to question everything. So yeah, I definitely see that changing. More truths are coming out, and that's going to change. Like it has to, right? Like we can't move on to this new 5D vibration if we're still living in these old programs that don't serve the way we're supposed to function. So, no, yeah, that's going to change, I think, for sure. I don't know when exactly. It might be like I said, this is a 20-year long transit. So, um, it depends on your individual chart, right? Every person is going to be affected different with planetary energies. But yeah, I could definitely see the rise of the femme continuing. And I think it does need some balance with the masculine. So
Yeah,
we
there's a lot
need
of
to.
work. Yeah, even men's work ideas on that. They're coming up. It's a good move.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We need to unite. That's like a simple way of putting it for sure. We need more unity versus division. They're going to try to keep dividing us, but the one thing we'll just have to keep in mind is are these programs and that we do need to unite.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
yeah, details on the idea of a lot of star seed souls and newer children. And you have a I believe he's 2-year-old son, so you might already see a lot of changes, right? Some miraculous
Yeah,
things.
yeah, for sure. It's exciting. Obviously, I think every generation has come here to clear some sort of karma when we're talking about generational planets like Pluto. Each generation is here to clear, and when they're infants, we might not be seeing as much of their impact, but when they're adults, I think it's going to be huge.
Mm.
So again, it's like one of those long-term things. Absolutely. I do. I agree with you. I think there's more star seeds coming in. Um, and do I know like that for sure? Like, no, like, of course not. I'm not the ultimate higher power. I don't know what the plan is ultimately for humanity, but it is the theme that's been happening. And when you look at it through astrology and what we have going on in the stars, it does definitely feel like this revolution and this transformation. So, yeah, absolutely. I do think more star seeds are coming in when they're going to be born with this. Pluto in Aquarius, they're coming here to help us then clear our karma around our societal transformation and technological transformations. So that'll be interesting with the vibration that they're going to bring in with the changes in our society and technology and how we like I mentioned before, how we connect with each other and what community really means to us. I think these star seeds are really going to anchor that in and teach us a lot about community and connection, which obviously is really needed.
Yes, yes. And new Earth families or high vibrational families, how do you see these coming through for next 20 years and be ahead?
Mm. Yeah, right. So I think it goes back to the sovereignty piece and living living more authentically and protecting your vessel. Like I said, I see a lot of families who have already started the homeschooling with their children and taking back the sovereignty there and educating them and realizing that maybe some of these institutions don't have their children's best interests at heart. So I can see that continuing. And, the family unit has been attacked a lot. So obviously now we're needing to clear that karma and repair it, right? So, yeah, the positive light side would be more families breaking out of the matrix and disassociating with these institutions that have been breaking them apart, and like I said, growing your own food, homeschooling, cutting out all the toxicity, and working on studying things that are actually true to us as humans. The shadow side, there's a lot of tech right now that's coming out and affecting our children. I do think there are
Yes.
some positives when it comes to AI and how it can help us, again, like connect with each other online, and which can be helpful for like our businesses and stuff as well. So, if there's other families out there who are starting to like put their information out online and on social media, and AI is getting smarter, it's going to help you connect with these people as long as we don't have too much, you know, government control over tech. So we'll see how that goes for sure. But yeah, obviously when you're talking about like new earth and families wanting to grow spiritually, they need to disconnect from these systems as much as possible, but also be
Because
compassionate, because people came here to still anchor in high vibes to the 3D. So some people do have to stay in the 3D and keep that, anchor their vibrations into it.
Okay. All right. So, when about schools, like there's a school on the same lane where I live, and I see that a lot of children uh, are interested in something like farming and doing natural activities, and they are not really enjoying that kind of an environment anymore. So there's a lot of stress with kids also. This is what I have
Mm.
seen, and I hope it changes sooner when they choose to uh, walk their own path. And I hope parents also start noticing the requirements their kids are moving towards. Because this is where the parents are like, no, no, you shouldn't do that, only sit and do the bookish work. But then that child is like, no, I want to try everything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Somewhere
When
that
we,
pressure point has to come where that thing happens, where kids start taking responsibility to learn in another way or learn in more free way.
yes, that's awesome. I was just going to mention that the key word here is freedom, and it's very Aquarian.
Much
Aquarius
needed.
does want to be free.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And you got to be fearless to be different. So I'm really proud of children who are, and families who are, and they're breaking out and they're leading the way and liberating themselves. And, they want like this more free world with community, and just thinking for yourself and being who you are and who you were born to be. Um, like we mentioned before, the symbol for Aquarius is the water bearer. So we're going to be pouring into others and their consciousness, and pouring into the cups of others and not being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to bring a lot of Aquarian shifts, especially those who are already on this path, and who care about community and who care about others, and wanting to live a life of service to others. So I think people should really be setting their intentions for Pluto and Aquarius, and what you want the world to look like.
Okay. Yeah, here's a message for all those who are going to see this, setting intentions for a better world and more
Yes,
feeling based, integrity based living. Yeah.
yes.
And I've seen one pattern when it comes to families and the younger kids. The uh, the smart kids or star seeds, they're kind of they're born in families which are financially well off, and that gives them
Mm.
enough resources. I've seen a few examples here, and then they invest a lot of time and their resources in studying about ancient wisdom, scriptures, like that. I've heard of these things. And some kids are quite wise, and they are already looking at artificial intelligence. And I heard this one statement, it stayed with me, like it is a good technology, like a 12-year-old, but it does not have emotions. So that gave me a sense of comfort, like, okay, these kids are way ahead of our
Ugh,
perception.
yes, right. Absolutely. They're so, yeah. Children are just so aware, and I love listening to them. And oh yeah, I could go off on a tangent, but for sure I do. Yeah, I do think when it comes to um kids this age, they're so smart, and they don't know any different. Like, they've grown up with technology, so they don't know the difference, like some of the older generations.
Uh,
But
I'm
it's interesting
sorry.
how wise they are.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll have to close this for now. Should we
Oh,
continue
that's
on our
okay.
next